top teams is very, very strong because they both have so much push potential, but you can lane it appropriately and still be aggressive at the same time. I've seen Orange do that quite a number of times. They also really love Pestilence. We've seen them pick up Pestilence a number of times in the past. And, yeah, maybe we'll see that. And actually, the game has started, so here we go, Breaking.
Let's do it. We got, again, ORGE Esports Malaysia. They're actually on the Hellborn side here in game number 1. Going up against Pikachu, of course, on the Legion side. Now, I mentioned, so they were using a ringer last week, unfortunately, which resulted in a forfeit loss after they defeated the 90s. So it counted as a loss then. Again, it was Nier who is actually now a part of the roster. However, as a result of that as well, he was put on a 2-game suspension. So he's actually not going to be able to play in this one nor the following matchup. So he'll only be able to play in the final matchup of the group stages and then the quarterfinals if they do advance on. So you see the lineup that they have here, still a very strong one at that. Again, this has definitely been a team that's been very interesting here in the group stages here at the DreamHoN Summer Championships. A team that, we weren't really sure what to expect, but they've definitely shown us some great things. So ORGE Esports Malaysia, you could say that their favorite really in Group A going into this group, and it is really no big surprise, at least, to see them at 5-0, of course, on top there. But as you mentioned, the game started, so we got the blind bans taking place here. We actually have Pebbles and Tempest blind banned by Pikachu, and then Polywog, Priest, and Plague Rider thrown out there by ORGE Esports. So ORGE Esports going with some very interesting blind bans themselves.
Yeah, I'll touch on them just for a second as this is moving very quickly. The locks have already started, but both teams are really recognizing that they can play these top-tier heroes. It's not just Orange that always picks Polywog. I know that PIKA loves to play Polywog as well, and Mr. Ghost recognizes that, so he goes ahead and line bans Polywog. And then Plague Rider, kind of an interesting one, but we've seen him a lot more lately. Very, very strong suicide hero. Legion goes ahead and bans Pebbles and Tempest. Again, I said ORGE Esports loves to run that long lane Tempest. It works out very well for them. They're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And then Pebbles, I was wondering at first why would they do that, but then they went ahead and locked Tundra. So it's kind of awkward putting a Tundra and a Pebbles in your game. You could do it, but it kind of means you're not going to have a hard carry because you're going to have a Pebbles being supported in one lane, Tundra in the other, and then, like, who else? Maybe a Suicide. You won't really have a hard carry, so I can understand that.
Yeah.
Some other locks that are coming out. Tundra, ORGE Esports follows up with a Wild Soul and Ophelia. Very strong junglers right there. And Pika responds with Parasite Glacius, and then Mr. Ghost follows up finally with the Keep of the Forest. So 4 jungles in that lockpick pool.
Yeah, 4 possible jungles. Of course, Wild Soul just as easily could be ran in the lane, of course. But yeah, 4 very possible jungle heroes. This is an excellent, very strong lock pool here that we have between these two teams. So that is going to be interesting to see how it plays out because, again, you got to figure Pikachu with that first lock on a Tundra. And, again, no surprise, very likely going to first pick Tundra. But that, of course, leaves the doors open big time now for Orange. Now, I will say, because there are so many jungles, you usually wouldn't go more than one jungle. However, I could see Orange going something like, again, a Wild Soul who can play in a lane, and then something else like that Ophelia, like that Parasite even, to go along to play in the jungle. So both teams should get some very, very strong picks, though, out of this lock pool. Again, as all 6 heroes are, of course, very, very playable. Now, the banning phase taking place, the regular banning phase, we have Demented Shaman, Jerizaiah, Forsaken Archer, Flux. Flux actually banned by ORGE Esports right there, followed up by Witch Slayer from Pikachu, and now ORGE Esports waiting on their third and final ban, but Flux banned by Mr. Ghost over there as Aluna is the final ban. What do you make of that?
Not quite sure, honestly, about the Flux. I mean, he's a very, very strong mid hero, don't get me wrong. I mean, that hero is so strong in mid. He's so tanky, does a lot of damage. He can last hit with his W ability if he needs to. First pick Silhouette, by the way, coming out from Pika, very, very strong. There is TDL and Amazebit on the board, but back to the bans there. Witch Slayer from Pika, very, very standard. I mean, Orange, as well as most Southeast Asian teams, love to run Witch Slayer. It's a very, very big comfort hero over in the Southeast Asian region. As far as the other ones go, Forsaken Archer, again, ORGE Esports, that's a very popular hero among them. Jerizaiah ban, not too surprising there, as well as the Aluna ban, not too surprising there as well. And then ORGE Esports follows up with a Wretched Hag. That's a hero we've been seeing a lot more lately, too.
Yeah, Wretched Hag has been very, very popular amongst competitive scene, as of course as a Bubbles. And on that note, it seems like, again, we've obviously transitioned, this has been a while now, but we've gone more back into seeing a lot of these solo mid-heroes even, such as your Hag, such as your Bubbles in certain cases. I mean, we've definitely had those middle matchups definitely come back very, very strong here on the competitive scene. So, and Wretched Dagger was by all means one of those heroes that we started seeing a lot more of because of that. So,
you know, I would love to see Defiler picked up more. I want to
Yeah.
mention that I think that she's a really underrated hero. Now, she doesn't have a stun, and people actually think she's very, very weak in mid. She's not. She has a spam ability. She can get to the runes quickly. You know, maybe with this mode, we'll start to see more heroes come out as we have in the past. But that's one of those heroes. Watch out for. I really think that hero has a lot of potential. Hopefully, one of these teams will pick him up and make me happy. But,
yeah, I agree. I mean, I definitely remember Chu comes to mind, you know, hearing
Right.
about Defiler, of course, with the Storm Sphere play on Defiler, going up in the air while the ghosts are still doing all the damage around
Exactly.
him. So, very, very powerful strategy there. But yeah, the silence is W, especially when you level it up, and with his third ability,
Giant radius.
the range on it, yeah, or the radius, I should say, is very, very large. So, I mean, you're right, of course, doesn't have that stun, but silence is a very, very powerful crowd control in its own right. So, yeah, that would be fun to see a hero like that kind of come back here on the competitive scene. But as far as this game is concerned, you know, probably not going to see it. We got Engineer Electrician as the follow-up picks from Pikachu. So a couple of purging abilities even thrown out over there. And then Andromeda to finish off pretty much right away from ORGE Sports Malaysia. So what do you make of things they finished off there, Trout?
Well, there's the engineer pick I was talking about. Pika loves
Yeah.
their engineer. I don't really know if I like the electrician pick too much. I feel like that's going to be potentially a lot of farm that is to be had on the Legion team. I'm not quite sure. Electrician's very, very strong in the beginning, but I feel like he kind of tapers off towards the mid and the end, or late game, I should say. But I actually do love that Glacius pick right now, and then that's exactly what I thought the Orange would do. It's a very, very heavy pushing strategy with Ophelia and Wild Soul. They'll probably do a long lane Wild Soul, or hell, they might even lane Wild Soul with Andro. Or I don't know. I've never seen that before, but I can't say it wouldn't work. It would be just fine. But they have a lot of pushing power. Mixed with an Ophelia, Wild Soul, the spam abilities from Wretched Hag and Bubbles, but mainly the Andromeda, Aurora, and the Aura will provide so much heavy push between the Ophelia minions and the Wild Soul Bear. So I really, really, like I said, these lineups are fun. We're going to see a lot of active play. Tundra, no surprise there. I actually was surprised he wasn't first picked there by Pika, but Glacius is kind of the important one there because they needed that hard support. So very, very solid but fun lineups and fresh lineups from both sides.
Yeah, that is, it was kind of funny because we have had a couple of cases where we see Tundra locked in. It's like, oh, he's going to be that first lock, no surprise. And sure, he even gets passed up the whole lock phase. So we're just in there like, wait, what? Did that really just happen? It does eventually get picked up, but as you mentioned, it kind of makes sense where Pikachu was thinking there, going with the Glacius because they really did need that hard support still. But ORGE Esports, even with Tundra on the board, they had their plan in mind, and they stuck with Ophelia and Wild Soul. As they picked it up very quickly, I don't even think they used any extra time, that whole picking phase actually, which is actually pretty damn rare. So Mr. Ghost for ORGE Sports Malaysia clearly has a strategy in mind going into this matchup, and safe to say that perhaps they accomplished it. So we're going to have a photo pause here to start the game, give us a little bit of time to maybe think about how we should expect to see the lane setups at least. As far as the Legion side, we currently have Engineer heading bottom actually already with no items on him for that matter. I mean, he's just going straight bottom. I'm not sure what the plan is there necessarily, but you do see Silhouette, Tundra, and Electrician, of course, in base, and then Glacius heading out a little bit. What do you think we should see here from the Legion team?
I thought initially that they were going to do a pseudo tri-line top with Glacius, Engineer, and Silhouette, and then a solo Tundra mid and Elect bottom. That's what I think they would do. But yeah, I'm kind of thrown off by this no items Engineer walking bottom.
Yeah,
hasn't spent any of his gold, so maybe a misclick. I'm not quite sure about that, but yeah, I think that would be the most solid thing for them. I really, really don't like seeing laning Electricians with another hero. I just think Electrician is one of those heroes that has to have those early levels early on because he's kind of, like I said, tapers off towards the end. That doesn't mean he's not effective at the end. It's just he's most effective in the beginning with levels, so I don't really like seeing him share experience with heroes. So I think it's best for maybe a pseudo tri-lane top, or maybe even just they could even do 2 dual lanes, perhaps, I guess. And that might be fine. As far as ORGE Esports goes, I really don't know because you have an Andromeda. And then you have 2 solo laners in Bubbles and Hag.
Yeah.
But you also have kind of a solo laner in Wild Soul, and that leads me to believe, though, they're going to have to lane Andrew with something here. Like,
yeah.
And I'm guessing Wild Soul? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Now, it could be a very, very strong lane, especially once Wild Soul hits level 3. You get that Entangle RNG off on the bear. You know, stun first with Andro, get the Entangle, and it's a lot of damage to be had. Also, mind you, Ophelia has bought boots first, and I think she's going to keep them. Very, very strong. Actually, level 1, I think when you take over a creep, the creep is much faster than you without boots, so it's nice to be able to keep up with that creep.
Yeah, Wang Wing playing the Ophelia here. Fantastic Ophelia player, I'm sure. Going the boots first. A little bit interesting, but you're right. I mean, being able to keep up with the creep is definitely nice. You're right, though, about that Andromeda. Something tells me we're just going to see really just maybe even a pure roaming Andromeda. I mean, not really even set to a lane, just more so just moving around.
Could be.
Even with this Ophelia trying to set up ganks, whether that's the middle or the top lane, and eventually at the bottom side. Currently, she is headed top, but yeah, I find it very hard to believe that she's going to actually lane with a Wretched Hag up here. And I mean, that's the other thing, too. It's with all three of those heroes, it's not like usually what Andromeda is very good with is landing with another stunner, if anything, especially with that combo stun being so powerful at level 1. Being able to follow up with another stun and getting a kill out of it is very effective, but, you know, Wretched Hag, Bubbles, or Wild Soul don't really bring that to the table necessarily. So, yeah, maybe expect to see just really pure one. But again, they picked it so quickly. So clearly, Orange Esports, I mean, it's not like they were forced to go these picks by any means. It seems like they had an idea going in mind to this game, and it seemed like, again, with how quickly they made their picks, that they've practiced this before, to say the least. So I'm really intrigued now to see what Orange Esports bring to the table. Look at this warding going on here by the Legion team, by the way. Not only do they block the camp here, but they also put one behind the tower. So very aggressive warding going on here right off the bat from our Legion side.
Yeah, that's very aggressive. They're expecting to maybe get some dives, and what they can do is auto-attack the wave, and they have to do this at like kind of the early levels, because if they wait until Andro and Hag get some levels, especially when Hag gets... Well, actually, Hag already leveled Blink, so that's good for him. But, yeah, they have to do this, like, spam out the wave quickly and then get behind there so that they're not really tanking the next creep wave to come after that. That's what they could do now, or they could do maybe at level 2. But if they wait a little bit too long, I suspect that too much of a response is going to come out. But, yeah, the thing they're going to have to watch out for and wait for is actually Andro might get caught here. Engineer and Glacius are roaming around. He is going to get caught. The ice block comes out as well as the stun, but it kind of pushes Andro away. And I think Andro's going to be okay because of that. Kind of an unfortunate placed keg right there. I think it could have been placed a little bit better. Ophelia's coming in with some assistance for the Skeleton King, and she will be fine. But did you see that? I feel like the keg, if it was pushing Andro towards the other way, she would have been just fine. And actually, Hag comes up. She is level 2 with that Haunt ability. Keg actually misses. It pushes him towards Hag. Not the greatest kegs in the world I've seen today so far, but I think he will be fine. More action coming out on Glacius. Andro is being very ballsy right there, and he actually gets bloodlusted there. Hag going to pick up another kill as well. The keg does hit, and it will go take out Hag right there as well, but the Ophelia minion, as well as the assistance from her own hero, takes out Engineer as well. So 2-to-2 exchange right there very early on. 4 kills in minute 30. Crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, that was a pretty insane start. I mean, there was several things that happened. You talked about the initial keg, how that even saved Andromeda initially, but her health potion actually got canceled as soon as she used it as well. So she remained to have very minimal life, but even after that, she still went back in, as we saw, to try to help the rest of the team to clean up some kills, maybe even get that bloodlust kill. But in fact, she got bloodlusted. So that was just all sorts of sloppy play, honestly, from both sides.
Yeah,
making some very questionable decisions that ended up to be pretty damn entertaining, because already we're now looking at a 2-to-2 tie game here in hero kills. But the Legion team did get the bloodlust, and Storyfooter here on Silhouette is now 0-1, so he only got 1 of the assists out of the 2 right there. But back to the lane he goes, and you see right there, actually, Engineer stealing the Skeleton King creep as far as farm goes away from Ophelia right there. So nice little snipe coming out. But yeah, very, very interesting start. But now it's, again, things are calming down. But that goes back to perhaps as well those very aggressive wards that were placed out here by Team Pikachu. But Andromeda, she is staying up here for the most part, kind of protecting this Wretched Hag. As you mentioned, it is kind of a tri-lane basically with Glacius and Engineer babysitting this Silhouette. So this laning phase actually turning out to be very, very interesting start here.
Yeah, some action coming on bottom. Electrician is just doing some harass. He did get the grip level early. I don't know if I really agree with that when you're up against a solo hero like this, especially when it's Wild Soul. But one of the things I was going to say before all that action happened is the Legion side really has to make sure that they're actually roaming and protecting these runes, because they have no vision of runes, and that's going to hurt Tundra. Although at the same time I want to say Tundra is, you just see the power and the dominance of this hero. The high attack, actually some action coming up here. Top of late to take over Breaky.
Yeah, Wing Wing, a nice dodge right there initially, but it's not going to be enough as the final auto attack comes out from Silhouette with that Relentless Salvo. Again, just too powerful. Also going to take out the Wolf Commander that was just taken out as well, or taken over as well. So some good farm coming out right there from Silhouette, farming the hero, as well as the minion that was controlled from Ophelia there.
Yeah, there's so much action coming out. It's going to be hard to even get a word in. But Tundra, wanted to talk about him. He's 16-10 right now against the Bubbles, who's 7-3, and that's no surprise. I mean, Tundra's attack animation on top of the hatchet, his damage is 68, and the spam abilities that he has and that maximum harass. I mean, this is why this hero was first picked. I mean, does so much damage, has so much lane control, so much good harass and attack animation. He's just a force to be reckoned with, but he doesn't have vision of runes, and that's where Bubbles could capitalize in this mid lane.
Yeah, that's definitely the hope there, as he does have a haste rune, of course, bottled up. Meanwhile, in the jungle, you see Ophelia nearly running into Engineer right here, as Engineer Tankafet playing very aggressive. I mean, constantly going to scout things out, headed back towards his middle lane again, now going back top, so really just keeping and pacing back and forth, making life very difficult here on Ophelia. I mean, Ophelia is still level 2. She has very minimal farm to start this game because of just how intense it's been, but she's going to go over and take a Revolt Lord over here and continue to farm with it. So, yeah, this top lane, though, continues to be very, very surprising, though, especially when it comes to action. And, again, the fact that we see an Andromeda Wretched Haggling is just still so odd, I think. But, you know, again, with the circumstances at hand, it kind of makes sense here. But I do actually want to get your thoughts real quickly. I know it's been a while since it happened, but I've always wondered about this. As we see the Entangle going out for the bottom lane. Electrician will he end up falling? Yes, he will right there. The final auto attack goes out, and a smackdown on top of that. That's what the Entangle does for you. Shuyu right there on Wild Soul picks up a kill thanks to RNG.
Yeah, that hero is so fun to watch, and I was talking for a while now. I just love this hero. I think this hero is absolutely almost to the god tier level. This hero is so good, especially in the solo lane. You can pretty much almost beat anything. He's even in his hard lane, and this is versus an Electrician we're talking about here. This is not an easy hero to kill.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine how much damage that's doing. Actually, Boo Boo's in a little bit of trouble here. He might go down. That would be a good gold boost there for Electrician. And actually, if Wild Soul's not careful, he will die as well. Very lucky proc, but no, the grip comes out from Electrician. I think that Wild Soul will fall. So that's a little bit, as we're just praising him, talking about how strong the hero is, got a little sloppy because he did have boots on his bear, so he's a very slow Wild Soul himself.
Well, we also saw a case right there, and again, a lot of people forget this, is that when the bear dies, he takes a chunk of damage, and that right there was the no doubt the killing blow that really happened onto him, because as soon as Boo Boo died, all of a sudden his life just dropped, and Electrician with that electric shield was just able to sit on top of him long enough to get the kill. So, yeah, that worked out very well right there in favor of Electrician. So, yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, Shuyu looking good there after that kill that he had with the Entangle Root, but unfortunately, Electrician gets his revenge. And Pook here on Electrician will go back to free farming it up at the bottom lane currently for the time being. Engineer's nearby as well. So Engineer's still level 2, mind you. But we'll see if he looks to try to set something up here. But I wanted to go back to the very beginning of the game real quickly, where it was, as the creeps were spawning, Wild Soul, and what a lot of Wild Soul players do is he used Boo Boo to actually pull the creep from the bottom lane and pull them all the way up to himself to where the Hellborn creeps actually went to the Legion Tower as a result. And Electrician had to fight them there. I mean, quickly on that thought, though, Engineer is actually going to block. Great hero blocking from Ophelia coming out. Blocking off the path that he was trying to go through. Engineer is going to end up dropping as a result, but Ophelia will go down as well as Electrician and Glacius join the party and get some revenge for their fallen foe right there, fallen teammate, I should say. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 when it's all said and done, actually. But so about the Wild Soul.
Well played by Ophelia, but yeah, Wild Soul. You're talking about how he's dragging the creeps. It's a very good technique. It's not necessary in a 1v1 situation, but sometimes you don't know. And he might not have had vision or known that Electrician was there. It is an extremely, it's almost unfair tool, but that's what goes into the fact of picking these heroes. Tool to use against two heroes in this long lane, because you can drag the creeps and safely farm them while they're going to be struggling to farm them in the tower and taking lots of damage as well.
Yeah.
So that's one of the great things about this hero. I did want to touch on the point, though, that he actually maxed Boo Boo. And I don't really necessarily agree with that. I do like getting him level 3 when you are laning, because there's chances are that you are going to be hitting the tower, and you're going to do a lot of tower damage. But the difference from level 3 to 4 is actually some action coming up here. Nothing too big right now. The stun comes out. Bubbles actually ports onto Engineer, but he does get ulted by Tundra, taking a lot of damage, and he might fall here. Does he have Kelpie? Yes, he does, but he does not use it, and he will fall. So, unfortunately, that's Handle Baby gets taken out there by Tankafet. So, a good gold boost there. But, back to the Wild Soul, I don't. Yeah, the difference from level 3 to 4 is you're going to take more damage when he dies, and you get magic resistance on your, how much HP? 2,700 HP bear. So do you really need that magic resistance this early on? Like, is it really necessary? I don't think so. I would rather have extra damage from the natural attunement spell, or even the Wild, as he actually does level up the Wild, but the natural attunement spell actually gives your bear more passive health as well as more damage, and increases the duration of Wild by increments of 10 seconds per level. So I would I'd much rather see that leveled up than the bear. I really don't see any reason to level up past 3, at least early on.
You're right. I mean, especially when you put it the way he has 2,700 live. And oh, by the way, at the top, and actually a lot of action picking up. Engineer does go down to Ophelia. They're trying to finish off Silhouette with the assistance of Wretched Hag, but it's not going to be enough damage. It looks like Silhouette able to squeak on out of there with the Haunt debuff still on, but should be fine in the end. He does have a health potion that he's going to use as soon as the top falls off. In fact, there we go. But a kill on Engineer happening. Again, pretty well played there by the top lane. So we are now looking, though, at a 6-5 hero kill advantage in favor of Pikachu. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Tundra going on to Andromeda. Did not use the Avalanche just yet. Has it. There we go with the Avalanche. Going to run in and finish off Andromeda as a result. You see the Shell Surf coming in from Bubbles. Not going to port with it, though. Probably the smart decision, as he really wouldn't have been able to do too much right there, as Tundra was already falling back. So again, just the power of Tundra. Gordop here playing Tundra for Pikachu, and right now he is the top farmer in the game by quite a bit, actually. 353 gold per minute, so he's definitely on a takeover status here. Already Steam Boots bottle and power supply, and actually another about 600 gold saved up, so we'll see if perhaps Portal Key next in line. But yeah, Tundra looking very good early on here for Pikachu, which is a great sign for the Legion team, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that hero is just so strong. I mean, I already talked about it. I'm not going to touch on that again, but yeah, he's doing a good job. Wild Soul down here in the bottom lane is applying some pressure to this tower. It's about half HP, a little less, actually. And you got to imagine he's done a lot of damage to Electrician already, because Electrician's half HP and no mana. So this Wild Soul is just doing a lot of damage. He's actually getting out-leveled, though, by Electrician. Electrician, I guess, got some good solo experience after some hero kills. Actually, Electrician is the top experience per minute in the game. So, yeah, that's good for him. But I imagine that once Ophelia gets 2 good creeps, he is level 5 now, has a Minotaur. I don't see anything else. Actually, stun coming out on Tundra, the Shell Surf to follow, but they will not pursue him. I imagine when Ophelia gets these 2 good creeps, they will start grouping up behind the Wild Soul and maybe start pushing as 5. Andromeda, she's only level 4, she doesn't have boots, and she's really struggling in this game, but if she can get like level 6 with that swap and boots, their team fight is going to be quite huge, actually. Astrolabe now picked up and finished on Ophelia as well. So, yeah, I hope to see that. And actually, the supports on the Legion side are struggling just as much, too. Well, a little bit better because they actually have kills and whatnot. But they are level 4, each, Glacius and Engineer. So, kind of even in that sense between Andromeda.
Yeah, and again, I will say now, 7-5 hero kill advantage, where you have 12 kills total, just passing the 11-minute mark here. This goes back to, as expected, a very entertaining game, but also, as you're saying, he gets another Minotaur, does Ophelia, and they push this bottom tower. So right on cue, it seems like this tower is going to fall. Nothing the Legion team is going to be able to do, or at least willing to do at least, to stop it. So free tower kill coming out in favor of the Hellborn team right there. They're not going to continue to push, at least just too extreme, as, well, maybe. I mean, Ophelia still has the minions in the lane.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah,
they should definitely apply pressure here. That's one of the things that a lot of teams do. You push one tower, you apply pressure to maybe force some TPs. So don't necessarily go all in on the thought that we're going to be pushing this. Just maybe see if you can bait out some TPs, because that really spreads up the map. Then what can you do if they TP bottom? Well, they waste their TP. You go TP top, push that lane. Yeah. Or if you're not TPing, then you can farm the jungle and allow someone to free farm without the threat of anyone kinking them. So just even applying some pressure without the full intent. And I hope that's what they do, because you got to imagine that this tower will be ultimately defended.
Oh, it is taking a lot of damage right off the bat. You see Boo Boo right here is going to get locked down, but again, it goes back to, well, not only, first off, this is interesting, he does have a Soul's Bulwark, so he goes Soul's Bulwark first item, actually, on Boo Boo, a little bit different,
that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Really do like that.
So like that over the Mock of Brilliance?
I've seen a lot of players do this, where they just go, actually, some initiation come out onto Silhouette, and with the Kelp Field assistance from from Bubbles, and Hag does pick up, actually, no, sorry, Handle Baby on Bubbles picked up that kill, so great kill on the Silhouette, who's actually struggling. She's 250 GPM, not bad, but she is level 7, so very, very needed kill there.
Yeah, but so again, the Mock of Brilliance, choosing not to go Mock of Brilliance on a Wild Soul, it sounded like you would kind of like to see that still, but you're happy that he went to Soul's Bulwark still?
Yeah, I think generally when you're laning Wild Soul, the Bulwark is much stronger. Like I said, you have much more potential to push the lane. They're going to do some tower trading here from mid and bottom. Mid's going to die here probably just about the same time, Ophelia having some ice block creeps, their electrician standing in the front grounds. They will maybe try to pursue them, and TP's come out. That Silhouette, he does a tree grapple, trying to pursue this Ophelia, but might be too far away. They will get the kill on Boo Boo, though, so that's a good boost then for them. The tower in mid lane, actually, some action. Tundra is trying to get away. He is TPing right there in front of them. Do they have any kind of stuns? No, they don't, and Tankafet on Engineer will die, but he does get the tower kill, so a little sign of life there, and now actually Book denies the bottom tower. So, yeah, I would actually say that Legion got the better end of that.
Yeah, but that's what it looks like. I mean, that was actually a pretty good job by Tankafit, as you mentioned, dying, but still, at least he got the tower kill, which could have very easily been denied, as we saw as what was going on in the end there. But now this is what you're also talking about. You know, you got some ports bottom, now they port mid, and they're going to aggressively push this middle tower. Now, will it be denied? It's going to be close right here. Invulnerability is going to come out. The ports are coming in, and the Hellborn team going to have to quickly fall back. Wild, so trying to run away. The Entangle on the TPS Priceless, though. Playing that Glacius, gets the kill. Kelfield comes out. You see Bubbles in the front line. He's going to take a Static Crypto, and the energy absorption on top of that gets the kill. But Boo Boo and Wild Soul once again, so much damage. Now Tankafet denies the tower right there, though, and Wild Soul will end up falling. So Engineer doing some big work. He gets picked off by Wretched Hag in the end. What is now his 5th death of the game, actually. But again, he's making some pretty big plays here in these last couple of minutes. Andromeda will get picked off, though.
Oh, no.
And Wretched Hag actually in a lot of trouble. You see the Electric Shield activated, ticking down Wretched Hag, and there's the final auto attack. And basically, really a near genocide coming out from Pikachu when it's all said and done. Hat trick for Book as well. That really went so well for Pikachu right there.
Yeah, there at the very end, XSF blinked in. He has a mana ring, or sorry, a ring of sorcery that he tried to give to Andro, I think, to maybe give him mana for a stun or something, but Andro already died before he blinked in. And so he made himself completely susceptible. On top of that, he was running away, tanking all the damage from the electric shield from Electrician on intelligent steam boots. So he was taking more damage than he should have. Had he been on strength steam boots, that blink was up like just a half a second away from being off cooldown. He would have been fine. So right there we see we don't always see the direct benefit of changing and swapping your steam boots, but right there that directly would have saved his life.
Yeah, it seems like really what happened in the last couple of minutes now. In fact, we see right there as well. That helps big time. Not only did they get several tower kills themselves, what is now the 2 tower kills from the middle and the top lane there, but they denied both the middle and the bottom lane on top of that. So the gold swing right now definitely in favor of Pikachu as a result of these last couple of minutes here. 4,400 gold lead on top of what is now a 3,400 experience. And again, a very, very action-intensive game. As expected here, 11-9 hero kill advantage in favor of Team Pikachu. But that is just, again, one stat amongst many. And right now it seems like Pikachu feeling pretty good about the situation at hand, especially with what's happened these last couple of minutes, because you got Electrician now, who is actually farming around 330 gold per minute. Silhouette has stepped up big time, and she is now past the 300 GPM mark. And then there's still Tundra, who's farming 421 gold per minute right now, again, being played by Gordob. He's got his portal key. He's going to go back to base and regen now. Looking fantastic all around. Wretched Hag is going to catch Glacius right here, using the Bat Blast. He won't even get the kill. No, he will not. That is huge right there. Solo Glacius cannot pick up the kill. Now they do take out Silhouette in the bottom lane, so at least some positive news there, but oh, that is so unfortunate for XXF.
Yeah, I missed that action. I was watching the kill there on Stroyfutter, and yeah, that is kind of unfortunate. He didn't get the kill using all those abilities on Solo Glacius, but I think the more important thing is they did actually get the kill on the Silhouette, so that was very, very, very good for them. They're now grouping up. Now, I did say that the tower did get denied here, but just the fact that they don't have that tower to port to, it really gives Hellborn a little bit more map control, you know. So just despite the fact that it was denied, and they denied a lot of gold there from Orange Esports, it's still good to have that map control taken away from them.
Yeah. We do see Glacius actually freezing a Andromeda illusion right there. Obviously kills it, but wasting an ability even. But hey, you got the kill, that's what matters. Andromeda is level 6 now, speaking of her. So she does have that swap ability, which I still think is one of the more entertaining abilities in the game. I mean, it just makes for some crazy, crazy moments that have a possibility of coming out as a result of it, both defensively and offensively, of course. So looking forward to seeing Mr. Ghost and taking advantage of that. You mentioned earlier, Wretched Hag picked up that Ring of Sorcery. She had tried to use it for her teammates. What do you make of that? That's not an item you usually see on a Wretched Hag.
I actually like it. It's especially very, very good at push-oriented lineups, because oftentimes you stay as 5 in the lane much longer than you would if you're not like a push kind of team. And the Ring of Sorcery really helps, just being able to sit there, spam your abilities, and not have to worry about running out of mana. So in a team fight-oriented team, or I should say like a pushing kind of team, Ring of Sorcery is very strong.
Yeah.
It's also just good alone on Hag, because she does blink a lot. She does spam her sonar scream a lot, so she goes through a lot of mana very quickly. So I actually don't think that's that bad of a pickup. She also is going for an Arcana, so I would not expect a Refresher Orb, so definitely probably that Hellflower, a very, very strong item right there. As this game, though, gets late, one thing we didn't talk about that much is why PIKA likes Engineer, and that ultimate is very, very good in team fights. It just closes off like a huge portion of the fighting radius, I should say, and it makes it very, very awkward. Now, if teams are actually... one of my pet peeves is when people don't attack the ultimate, because yes, it's a very, very strong ultimate, it's hard and annoying to deal with, but it's very easy to counter. And all you have to do is just take 1 second out of your time, maybe even less than that, depending on your attack speed, and just attack it. Just everyone focus, bam, it's gone. And a lot of teams don't do it. I remember back a long time ago when I joined SK, that was Fogg's big pet peeve. He was like, just attack the ultimate! He gets so angry, but it really is that simple, guys. I know it's a hard ultimate. Sometimes you got to do your thing and stun someone else and use your abilities inside the ult, but it's a really, really great ultimate. Does a lot of damage, keeps you... It gets you purged if you get stunned out of it, so... but yeah, that's one thing we didn't talk about, the Engineer. It's a great hero. It got a stun, lots of damage from the turret. Late game, if we actually get him to see some levels, those mines can be really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, you're right though. I mean, Energy Field in this case, of course, the ultimate from Engineer. It's one of those really mind games type of abilities where it's used, and it is very intimidating. I mean, it's this huge energy field that obviously, if you walk through it, you get purged. If you're standing in the middle of it, you are taking damage over time. So it's almost as if you go panic mode as a result of that. But if you just stay calm, knowing that it's coming, you just stay calm. Everyone right clicks at once, and all of a sudden it's dead, and it just goes away. So, but it's just a matter of if you're on top of doing that, and if you got the communication for that. I don't believe we've seen it yet here from Engineer, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that, though, of course, throughout these team fights, to see when it is used for Pikachu. And of course, very, very powerful ability. So,
I mean, level 3, it lasts for 10 seconds. That's a long friggin' time.
Jeez.
And also another thing to think about is if any of the Ophelia creeps are inside the field, as well as the Boo-Boo, you don't need heroes to attack them. You can kill the thing like basically instantly. If Ophelia has 3 creeps and herself, all it takes is boom. I attack it once, it's done. So that's another thing to think about is when you have multiple units on your team or on your hero, then it's very, very easy ultimate to counter. But yeah, level 3, like I said, it's much more effective later than game when it lasts longer, and an engineer is actually able to get something like a portal key to initiate with it. But yeah, 10 seconds of an energy field, that's a long amount of time. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, I'm just touching on that. It's kind of one of my pet peeves. But obviously, the other heroes have a little bit more of an impact this game. Like you said, Tundra, he's level 12 with 413 gold per minute. Electrician's level 13. My God,
yeah.
Didn't even think about that. But he is getting some good levels, despite the fact that he actually lost the bottom lane. I shouldn't really say lost. He died first, but then unfortunately, Shuyu playing that wild, so kind of got a little cocky, stayed a little bit too long, and the immediate port that back from the Electrician got him that kill right afterwards. So, but yeah, he did struggle a little bit early on in that lane. So a very, very good comeback there from Book.
Yeah, but again, I can't say I'm too surprised. Book is a fantastic player, and it seems like we have seen when we've casted Pikachu these last couple of times, he's definitely been very, very standout for them. So unfortunately, we're going to go right into another pause here. As ORGE Sports coming out of that, apparently an issue being persistent, so apparently a bug coming out, so maybe going to throw another restart out and then should be good to go, hopefully. But Wild Soul 2,000 gold saved up, so obviously, we talked about the he can't see Pooper. That is unfortunate. that would make life difficult for you as a Wild Soul player, I would assume, not being able to see your bear. But yeah, so he has 2,000 gold saved up. Again, he's got that Soulsborg, of course. Yeah, just respawn it, no big deal. Use your ability. With that, so he's got that Soulsborg picked up. So do you think now are you expecting maybe to see even a straight demonic breastplate, something like that, or would a Mach at this point still be powerful? I mean, what's the deal?
I think it's to each their own. Honestly, I think Mach is kind of standard in this game. On Boo Boo, it's actually quite cheap. It's only 3,400 gold for that Sword of the High. It's really good against supports, and right now, if you're looking at him and you're thinking, "Wow, that Glacius is only level 5, and that Engineer is only level 7," actually, he still says he still can't see his Boo Boo.
Yeah, that's that is really weird. I mean, I know if you use the tilde key, I believe it is, it's supposed to like cycle through the courier and whatnot, but
let's get it on.
That's really strange. Yeah, again, that. I mean,
well, he's controlling that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
He must see him now.
Yeah, he should be good. That'd be really weird if you can't see it right now because it's literally on top of him. So.
Well, you can see him actually stop canceling a little bit there.
That's true.
Him, so.
Okay. So yeah, apparently, yeah, he should be good to go now. So it looks like things are good to go. That's good. He can't really. That is strange. If they seriously cannot see it still. Because yeah, as you said, he was even controlling it. Restart your computer. Yeah. I don't know if that would necessarily fix it.
I don't know unless because the thing is I don't know. Because when you rejoin games, if he bound Boo Boo to himself, which I don't know if some players might do that, but it actually unbinds it. So that would mean he'd have to re-control it. But yeah, he was clearly. And right there, he actually sent him to attack.
Yeah, is he going to try to get a kill? I think maybe
it's just invisible.
Circle. Yeah, I
maybe
think it might be a case if he can see the circle, but he can't actually see the actual full bear.
Well, that's unfortunate. They have to waste all this time to do that.
I wonder if they're going to, yeah, they're probably just going to have it killed here. Oh, man, this is really unfortunate. The whole team is sitting around, too, which I find hilarious. It's as if they're just almost protecting him, but...
Well, they're going to try to auto-kill this Boo Boo as fast as they can.
Yeah, I mean... So yeah, you see them even attacking it now. So this is.
Let's hopefully he can see this.
I would really hope so. Okay, so he respawns it. Okay, is he good now?
He still can't see it.
Oh my god, that is. That's I don't know what to say. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if maybe reloading the interface may help with it, but let me actually double check on something real quickly. I forget what the command is, actually. Honestly, forget what the reload interface. I was going to try to help him now, maybe give him a command to use, but yeah, I forget actually what it is. But, well, anyways, I mean, obviously the game continues. Okay, now he can see it, just randomly.
What?
Oh, well, he just said see it, boo-boo, so maybe that means they can see it now all of a sudden. I don't know. Well, the game continues, so that's what matters, of course, and it does seem like both teams obviously are playing, so... we do have a case. So the Hellborn team, at least 4 to the 5 heroes, they are currently grouped up here at the top side. And thinking about making a push. Chris Wild Soul is not with him. He's currently in the middle lane, being a little bit distracted. Even he has 2,900 gold saved up, though. So it looks like that Mock of Brilliance very likely could be that next item of choice here for Wild Soul with everything being pulled up. Haste going to spawn right there, and Bubbles will gladly bottle up himself. So they don't go for another push at the top side. Instead, they're going to go back to farm for now. Tundra, though, jumping in, gets the avalanche off onto Wretched Hag. In comes a Static Griffin Electrician, the Ophelia heal being used, but not nearly enough to save Wretched Hag, as we saw right there. So great jump coming out from Pikachu and catching Orange Esports, at least Wretched Hag, off guard right there. But Orange doing a lot of farm time here. Yeah, well, it's just unfortunate, like, pauses like that, and when you have to use time as a team to collectively wait to kill your teammate's boo-boo. It kind of throws things off, and it starts a different pace of the game. I know it. I felt it. It's kind of awkward, and hopefully they can jump back in this game. But yeah, right there, the ward as well as the Hawk coming out from Tundra was flying over that way, I should say, and actually spotted Hag. So good jump there by Tundra right there. Bulwark picked up by Tundra as well. I don't know if we mentioned that, but that's a pretty good pick up there. I actually usually would like to see that on Electrician, but Bulwark is still fine if someone picks it up. And then, yeah, wow, Electrician just skyrocketing in levels. Now he's level 15. So Boo having a hell of a game there. He's got that axe right there. Probably going to go for a Shrunken Head in the near future. He's got 1,600, so he's going to need another 1,300. Very, very good item pickup there. Again, always against Bubbles. But yeah, you were mentioning about Wild Soul. He does buy the Sword of the High actually right there. And, yeah, I really do agree with that. I think it's really going to add so much damage to especially the supports on the team. And, you know, it's going to do a lot of damage also to Silhouette. She's not the tankiest of heroes. She is close to her Nullstone. You're going to probably have no idea what I'm going to say about that. But it's still a great item, but yeah, she's not going to be the tankiest of heroes, so that the Mock Brilliance is still going to do a lot of damage. Yeah. And also, it just helps you farm a lot more. And the thing about Wild Soul is you can take this game as late as you want and feel comfortable because, hey, it's a hero with 12 item slots, right? So you don't have to worry about not having enough late game. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely got that accomplished. Now, I do find it a little bit interesting, really. We've been maybe 5 minutes, or maybe it seems a little bit longer because of the pauses that happen, but it seems like it's been a little bit since we've had really much action other than that Wretched Hag gig, of course, and again, especially with the way this game started, I find that pretty crazy. But here we are sitting at a 12-10 hero kill advantage in favor of Pikachu. We're now coming up to the 24-minute mark, and they are also looking at a 7,200 gold lead as well as a 6,500 experience. Nullstone just finished on Story Footer, so as you're just talking about, though, maybe not the tankiest of heroes, so we'll see if that really will affect her. Boo Boo, though, going to continue to push this bottom lane, or at least try to. You see Wildstone coming up just in range so Boo Boo can attack the tower, and you just look at how much damage that bear freaking does to towers. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're going to fall back, though, as, of course, Silhouette comes in to protect him. Andromeda running in right here. Maybe going to try to get a swap off. Is he going to swap? No, he's not. He's going to fall back, takes the Tundra Blast, but going to be fine. You saw Aphelios minions at least. They were charging up, maybe looking to get a gank off, but obviously with the no swap, not going to happen as the Legion team reacting to it in time. But yeah, I mean, you talked about Book, with the experience per minute alone is impressive, but again, the gold per minute as well. I mean, he's now the top farmer in the game, 405 gold per minute. He is very close to finishing that Shrunken Head. And you talk about lack of tank on Silhouette, well, Electrician will be plenty of tanky power for his team. So, you know, I can just feel it, though. It seems like we're going to be – this is going to be one of those games where just, you know, a little bit of farm here going into that mid-game stage, but all of a sudden that big epic fight is going to happen. And all of a sudden the game's going to be over right after that. So,
well, yeah, the farming stage is on the ownness of PIKA, really. I mean, Orange is actually at a deficit, so it's not going to be very smart for them to be like, all right, let's go be aggressive and do. No, they have to play this a little bit more conservatively, a little bit more careful, especially with the team makeup that they have, because they're both early game and late game, if that makes sense. They have a lot of early push, but they're kind of some like lack of mid game heroes. They can definitely take this late, but they kind of lost a little bit in the beginning. They are doing some good tower pushing right there. They got the tower push right there at the top. But I was thinking about this, and I can't... Like, this bottom tower that was pushed early on, this tier 2 tower, is very, very effective for Orange. They can safely farm the jungle and not have to worry about any ports coming out here. If they ward properly and they see any kind of movement coming from mid or whatever, they can farm and push this bottom lane as long as he wants. So Wildsoul just doing his thing, staying in the jungle, and as soon as the Silhouette leaves, and actually he doesn't have to wait for it to leave, he can go still pressure it, but it's like this constant pressure, and he doesn't have to worry about getting ganked. Now, they do have, I was just about to say this, the Tundra Hawk is a very, very useful tool, and that's why a Tundra is like god tier, and so they're going to have some help in that regard. But still, that tower push in the bottom lane, even though it was denied, it frees up so much map control. And actually, XSF, I missed it, but Boo gets yet another kill on the XSF there. Hag, I didn't quite catch it. Maybe you did.
I unfortunately did not, but it seems like it happened pretty damn quickly, and it's safe to say that a Portal Key Avalanche combination was used by Tundra to start it off at least. And the rest is pretty much history. So yeah, Wretched Hag getting picked off here in the middle, and XXF definitely not having the greatest of games here for Orange Esports Malaysia. We've talked about him in the past as being a very standout player here for this Orange team, especially after the DreamHack event. Became very, very well respected, as does this team as a whole. So, but you're right though. Shuyu here on Wild Soul, he has been doing a really good job at the bottom lane. He's been taking out the Legion jungle several times, as we just saw maybe a minute ago or so. He's been going for the tower push. Now, Boo Boo, if he dies right here, he does not have a respawn. In comes the energy field in the background, and the push onto Andromeda. Andromeda will end up drying. The Boo Boo looks like is going to end up going down as well. So Wild Soul pretty much useless now, and he's going to have to fall back. Bubbles is able to shell support out, so only the one death happening on the hero that is onto Andromeda, but again, Wild Soul losing a lot as a result of the bear going down. Now he will be able to respawn him in 10 seconds, and it looks like not too much damage at least happens there, but you got to be careful with Wild Soul in that case, because if you lose Boo Boo with no respawn timer up, I mean, that could be pretty deadly.
Yeah, they were taking it back there by that portal key that was picked up on Engineer, and good job by him to use that, find an opening. And portal key now picked up on Silhouette as well. So yesterday we talked about the portal key Nullstone combination on, I believe it was Relo playing it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Now the difference here is this guy's picking it up. Sorry, I should say this guy's. Stroyfutter is picking it up 26 minutes, whereas Relo picked it up at like 34 when they were losing like very badly. Mm-hmm. So there's a there's a big difference where it's like, yeah, an item build is one thing, but sometimes it's correct and sometimes it's not.
Yeah. And
this is one of those times where it's going to be very effective. He can synergize it very well with the portal key on the other heroes as well. Now they have 3 portal keys on their team total. So yeah, I really like that pickup here.
Yeah, the 3 portal keys. I mean, yeah, that's ridiculous. Obviously, Engineer having one as well. We saw right there in the last team fight, able to get off a great position with the energy field. and get a good fight out of that for his team. But again, in the end, it really wasn't the most damage that was done right there, and the Hellborn team is going to do their best to kind of regroup here and get some more farm, but it just seems like they're fighting a losing battle as this game continues to progress on. I mean, you got Electrician and Tundra who remain above 400 GPM. Seems like they've just been over that mark now for a little bit, and then Silhouette has been creeping up herself, nearly 370 gold per minute up there. Wild Soul is he's trying at 350 GPM, but then it just starts to drop off a bit from there. Granted, Wretched actually does have her Hellflower now, and that is a big item, so maybe it's a case of waiting for an item like that to really feel more comfortable as far as making something happen. But I don't know. I mean, I guess, again, to kind of bring it up, I mean, doesn't Orange Esports need to really be pushing these towers, at least taking out all the outer towers, or can they just continue to sit back, or are they forced to, I guess?
I think they're fine. I mean, Silhouette is a very, very scary carry. Definitely she can take this late game, but honestly, like I said, Wild Soul can hold 12 items. So I don't think they're necessarily in any huge hurry here to speed things up and push towers. Also, I said that the Hellfire pickup on Hag was huge, and it is. Despite, and actually, wow, a full Demonic there was picked up. I don't know if that was the recipe, actually. You can never really quite tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Shrunken Head is picked up on Electrician. He does look very scary. He's tanky with 2k HP. But if you start off and actually Initiation coming out onto Wild Soul, very, very good Blink Grapple there from Silhouette. The ultimate is also used by Engineer, but wow, Wild Soul is just so damn tanky. Look at that. The swap coming in from Andromeda to save him. I think it was actually okay, but he does go there. Bubbles comes out. Great! Bad Blast coming up from Wretched Hag, but he will get caught here as the Avalanche as well as the Shrunken Head Electrician there gets their grip on him. So good response there, but wow, that Wretched Hag Blast did a lot of damage.
Yeah, Bat Blast, very well used. Now, he didn't use the Hellflower, I believe, which is kind of unfortunate for Wretched Hag. Just getting finished talking about that, how useful it is, but you got to use the damn item for it to be useful. Electrician trying to chase down Bubbles. Look, he's trapped by the Curiel, actually in here in the jungle, but it should be able to squeak out as he gets the portal key off and will survive. But yeah, that was an interesting fight. You mentioned Bat Blast coming out from Hag, and definitely was very well placed, and maybe, if anything, made it not nearly as bad as it could have been for Orange Esports Malaysia.
Yeah.
But I think in the end it ends up as a 2-for-2 exchange, as Andromeda and Hag did fall for, I believe it was Glacius and Engineer. But Boo Boo and Wild Soul, for that matter, stayed alive. And that's, of course, the big deal here for Orange Esports. And back to farm he goes, 2,800 gold saved up. I mean, again, he's just pulling up that gold once again like he did for the Mock of Brilliance, but now I guess, yeah, Demonic Breastplate probably, as we see him purchase the Warcleft right there, so.
Yeah, and actually, I mentioned there, I think Wild Soul was going to be fine just running around there, or running back to base. Andromeda swap, I mean, he had good intentions, but I think he kind of suicided himself there. Yeah. So I don't know if I really agree with that swap right there. But one thing I wanted to say, though, is that despite the tanky nature of these heroes, Demonic Breastplate finished on Tundra, Electrician has that Shrunken Head, is if Hag can jump onto them with the Hellflower, and then the stun, as well as the Max Aurora, by the way, on Andromeda, and you get an Entangle proc on there with that Hellflower, and you get, when you Hellflower him, he's not able to use electric Shield, so that's what's making him so tanky. He's actually going to drop quite fast, and I bet we'll see that sometime this game. So that's why I think this Hellflower pickup is extremely strong and important for the Hellborn side. Yeah,
another big thing about last fight is, too, by the way, which I meant to bring up as well, was Silhouette actually nearly died that last fight. She was able to port out the last second, but she maybe had 100 life before she was able to port through Illusion. But Boo Boo was doing just so much damage to her, just right-clicking, and I believe he even got an Entangle proc off. So, again, it just shows you the power of Boo Boo. And now with it, well, what's soon going to be a Demonic Breastplate on him, make him that much more deadly, which I believe he just finished, actually. But speaking of Demonic Breastplate, it was actually a full Demonic that was finished on Tundra earlier. That got delivered to him. Again, it just goes to show you this mountain of farm that Gordop here on Tundra has just continued to have. As oh, what does he do? Oh, yeah, he's taking the creeps away. And this is what you love about Boo Boo, just really almost toying with the other team. And he's able to pour back to his owner and going to continue to farm himself. But yeah, stealing some creeps. I mean, it is funny, but at the same time, it's effective, and it's getting the job done here for it.
It is. He's running them around those 3 camps constantly, and because the Mock of Brilliance effect, it's pulling them towards the same area, and just kind of running it in a circle. And it's a very, very effective tool to farm, and I love seeing that. But unfortunately, all the heroes were there, and now actually all the elite heroes, except for Silhouette there in the top lane, are grouped to the bottom. And I actually think if they recognize this fact, they could actually do a fight here, and they would be fighting 4-on-5. So I don't think Legion has any business really fighting here, and yeah, they will fall back as they really should. Engineer's level 10. Hopefully he'll hit level 11 soon, because that ultimate will do. Well, we'll have 2 more seconds on it with some more magic damage as well. So that's good for him. But yeah, some good gold lead here coming out for Legion, and the experience lead is still climbing. But like I said, Boo Boo, he has that demonic breastplate also finished, by the way, so he did buy that, and he's going to do so much damage to. I mean, regardless of how tanky they are, you get that Andromeda Aurora, coupled with the aura, the stun, the Hellflower combination. I mean, Boo Boo is going to do a ton of damage. And I actually am surprised that they have not maybe tried to counter ward here around Kong and take Kong, because they would actually do a lot of damage to Kong and down him pretty fast.
Yeah. Obviously, they were at Congo earlier, but it wasn't for an attempt by any means. That was for the suicide of Boo Boo.
Yeah.
The sad time that was, trying to fix an apparent bug. But you mentioned demonic breastplate. Now, it's on a Wild Soul. What do you make of that instead of Boo Boo? He actually took off the Soul's Bulwark from Boo Boo and put it on himself to complete the demonic breastplate here.
Interesting. I definitely hope he switches it on Boo Boo for a team fight, because the armor aura that it gives, obviously it's an aura, so you don't really need it on your hero to get it. You're going to get more armor if you actually put it on yourself. Yes, I understand that. But you don't really need the attack speed on you at all. Yeah, I definitely hope he switches to the bear, because it's just so much more effective to have that, when you have maximum attack speed on your bear, obviously the RNG factor is a little bit more in your favor because you're attacking quicker, so the chances of you hitting that tangle are much higher. So yeah, definitely, I really hope he switches it to the bear. Before a team fight.
Yeah, maybe it is just one of those initially. For now, he's just for himself, just in case. But going into a team fight, maybe an aggressive push. We'll see if he switches that up. But for now, it does remain on himself. He ports back to the middle lane because you see right here, Pikachu, a very aggressive push themselves, and they are easily going to get this tower. 0 resistance put up right there from the Hellborn side. Now, Wretched Ag at level 16, she was pushing the top lane while that was happening. You see Tundra, in fact, porting up there to start pushing the creep wave back, as Wretched Ag will now go into the jungle and continue to farm in there. But definitely a very, very effective tower kill. Now, what is 400 gold per minute? 3 heroes on the Legion team have over 400 GPM. It's not too often you see that. So really, Pikachu remaining to be in such a very good spot here. Wild Soul, though, I will say, he has been creeping up there as well, and he's on par with this Legion team of the best of the best. And it does go back to, as you said, really, Wild Soul does have 12 item slots between him and Boo Boo. So, the fact that maybe you can argue that a Silhouette over there and even an Electrician, pretty damn scary, just letting them farm. But Wild Soul definitely can do a lot of power himself. You see Silhouette at the bottom lane. She's going to port out before she gets jumped. But now an aggressive bottom push perhaps going to happen. Probably not. That's not worth the risk. Maybe going to send him back in, actually. It depends on what they see on the mini-map, as we do see Engineer porting back to base. But, yeah, they are going to ultimately fall back and be done with it. So... but yeah, I mean, Wild Soul, he's definitely doing big things here. Shuyu playing in Wild Soul, of course, for ORGE Esports, and no doubt keeping his team in the game. And you're right with the level 4 Aurora, what is now a level 3 Aura with the Dimensional Link. It just about has that maxed out, choosing to go that instead of the Comet Stun even, as far as maxing out first.
Yeah, that combination right there, the Aurora and the Aura, works so well with any kind of pushing lineup. The creeps from Ophelia, the bear from Lone Druid. Or, I'm sorry, from Wild Soul. Yeah, I apologize. But it works so well with heroes that have a push makeup. And actually, Storm Spirit in there now picked up on Ophelia. We all know how strong this combination is, especially on Ophelia, because if someone goes on you, or on your ally, you could throw or you use that, what's it called here? The Ophelia's Judgment on them, throw them up in the air with a Storm Spirit, and bam, they're safely in the base now. Nothing you can do. You can't even purge it when they're up in the air like that. Yeah. So it's just an extremely, extremely effective tool. And you've put on top of that, if any of those heroes that you send back to base have post haste, which none of these heroes do, but let's say Wild Soul decided to buy that. You can send him back to base, heal, and then immediately, like in the midst of a team fight, he can come back with full HP. So it's an extremely effective strategy, especially on Ophelia. So I really, really love that pickup there by Wang Wang.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that before here in these competitive games, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that take place here, of course, as the Storm Spirit, again, picked up by Wang Wang there, playing Ophelia. Good news for ORGE Esports. More items being picked up, and again, this game just continues to be more of a... I still can't get... I mean, this game started just so crazy with action. We had 4 kills right off the bat, and it just kept going from there, but... It hit that one mark of just everything just coming to a stall almost after that pause, and it's just been much more of a farming phase here. Now, Silhouette with an Invisor, and she is in the middle lane right here. Bubbles did just use a Shell Surf to port in. The support is coming over. Silhouette, she is going to chase, but I don't think it's going to really matter in the end, as they're just going to be too far back. So you see right there, Pikachu was hoping to keep them there long enough, but unfortunately for their sake, that is not the case. They are going to use Shiver maybe to scout it out a little bit, but again, you can see on the mini-map, Hellborn team not going to be too caught out themselves. 3,800 gold pulled up on Wild Soul. We got 3,200 on Wretched Hag, 2,600 on Bubbles. It's just ridiculous. Just so much pooling, really on both sides. I mean, you've got Silhouette and Tundra over there, over 2K themselves. So perhaps buyback's going to start becoming more of an interest, as well as we'll just really that next big item. But Conqueror, by the way, being attempted. You mentioned earlier by ORGE Esports, they could really do it. Well, Pikachu, they're going to try to do it right here. Now, I believe they are spotted, yeah, definitely by this Ward of Sight down here. So, of course, very, very aware. And you see Boo Boo going in and harassing them and scaring them off. So
yeah, I'm actually surprised they didn't counter that ward, because it's an extremely common ward, and they have the bound die up on Engineer as well as the Hawk. So kind of curious why they didn't counter that ward yet, but maybe they just haven't thought about it. I don't know. That's a very common ward spot, so I would expect most teams to check there before they try to do a Conqueror attack.
Yeah. Now, Boo Boo was just killed right there. So Wild Soul did have to use a respawn. So that's 120 seconds. He needs to be careful that Boo Boo doesn't get caught out again and taken out, because we stressed earlier how important that. Look at this. He actually has his items on himself now. He even gave himself the Mock of Brilliance, basically saying, I'm going to suicide my bear. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Oh, no. That was just silly.
Oh, no.
From Shuyu.
And Legion's got to know it. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got to know that they don't aren't having to fight against that bear. Now, like you did say, he did put the items on him, so maybe they're thinking, oh, Legion's going to get a little bit cocky. They killed the bear twice. Now we can safely do Conqueror, because all the heroes are grouping up here. They don't actually have vision inside the pit, so they don't know how low it is yet. Now the Shell Surf is going to show, and we might see a fight here now.
Oh, Electrician going in, purges himself off of that Q ability from Affiliate. There's a swap on it, Bubbles, trying to save him. In comes Wretched Axe. She has a Shrunken activated. Tundra's going to start dropping, and Tundra fall. There you go. They take out the energy fields. Good focus fire right there. Coming out from ORGE Esports from Malaysia. Wild Soul doing what it can. You see in the background, Wretched Hag gets another kill right there, this time onto Engineer, and Wild Soul is going to get ported back, actually, I believe. Wretched Hag chasing down Glacius, wants to pick up a kill, but he'll have to blank away just to save himself, as he does right there. We do see Ophelia and Bubble still chasing, though. Ophelia getting caught by Static Grip. They're pounding a shield breaker auto attacks from Silhouette. Too much damage, gets the kill. Bubbles did snipe out Glacius, but now Bubbles in a little bit of trouble. Here comes Wild Soul, though. The bear is not up for another 35 seconds. Bubbles will go down, and a Wild Soul just will have to fall back, as well as Wretched Hag. So on again, just some pretty sloppy play there, and I'm not sure why Wild Soul got ported back either. I mean, it seemed like he was more than fine, and the fact that he got ported back prevented him from helping the team there, as they were still chasing, obviously. So they're going to go back and conquer once again. Now, again, the bear is up in 13 seconds, so that could be the saving grace here, maybe to hold them off, but I don't know. Conqueror is going to start dropping pretty damn quickly right here. You got Wild Soul running up. Bear in 3, 2, 1. Not going to happen. Token of Life will be picked up. And now Wild Soul, he needs to get the hell out of it. Don't sacrifice your bear again, please. He is going to send it in. He's trying to do some damage. In comes Wretched Hag and Andromeda, so they figure they can fight this right now. Shrocken activated by Electrician. In comes Engineer with the energy field. Not going to be enough mana to use it, though, just yet. And Wild Soul trying to stay alive. And it looks like his for now. Now, he needs to be careful not to let his bear die. Nice nuke right there on the Tundra to get him killed. But again, Wild Soul is solo. The bear does die yet again. And Wild Soul, the energy field, and take out the energy field. He gets stunned into the energy field, though. And he eventually will fall. Tundra jumping onto Ophelia. Ophelia can use a Storm Spirit. But Ophelia is going to survive in the end. But, oh, my God, that just seems so sloppy there for ORGE Esports.
Yeah, I feel like they have no business fighting these fights that they're deciding to fight in. You know, it's like they killed Conqueror, guys. They have token. Let's go fight them. 6 on 5. It doesn't really make sense. And yeah, and actually Silhouette doing so much damage, just destroyed Ophelia right there with that Shield Breaker 3. Just puts out so much damage. And she died basically instantly. Wild Soul, I believe, did buy out. No bear, though. He still has items on him, so it's not the end of the world. Shrunken Head activated there by Hag, but the Swapperoo coming out from Silhouette there, able to save herself. So, yeah, it baited actually 2 buyouts there. Bubbles bought out earlier, actually, but he's dead for now. The grip coming out onto Wild Soul, not before Shu does pick up a kill on TPS prices, but I think that's a trade they will take any day of the week.
Yeah. Definitely, and he does have another buyback, which he can. He's 2,600 gold pulled up. Again, this goes to show you how much money he actually had going into that initial fight. It was well over 4,000, I believe. He already used one buyback. He's not going to use the second one. The tower's just not taking nearly enough damage to warrant it, but I mean, all this credit we've been given to Shuyu for doing a fantastic job in this game, and no doubt keeping ORGE in it a lot longer than they definitely could have been. it just fell apart these last couple of minutes, starting with the Congo, sending the Baron, sacrificing it, and it just didn't really make sense. And we see right here now, and again, something we didn't stress was the amount of gold that he did have saved up going into that. He had over 4,000 gold. I mean, why not spend at least some of that gold, buy something? But this is now looking a lot grimmer all of a sudden here for Orange Esports. And as far as Pikachu is concerned, now you got a Silhouette who you talked about the level 3 shield breaker. She just picked up a freaking wing bow on top of that. So yeah, she is just maximum damage now. She has taken over as the top GPM in the game, 466 gold per minute and counting. I don't know if Orange Esports has much fight left in them.
Yeah, that's going to be really hard. I mean, that's actually going to make you even a little bit more tanky because the evasion is going to really help against Boo Boo. Although I don't even think it matters because Boo Boo has no items on him. I still don't understand it, like you pointed out. It's much more effective, I feel, to put all those items on Boo Boo where the RNG factor can be upped, so to speak, with the attack speed, as well as the Maka Brilliance effect on him, so you can have that Maka Brilliance effect still there, but still be safe by keeping your main hero away. Actually, he might get jumped here if he's not careful. So actually, Silhouette's there's the illusion there, but he could port there if he wanted to. But yeah, this game is not looking too good now. Silhouette's got so much farm now. She's nearly maxed out, just one item away. And I would hope that would be something maybe like a... Well, actually, at this point, she doesn't even need a Shrunken Head because she's so farmed. This is one of those times where it's like Shrunken Head would actually not be a good item because she is so farmed. So something like a Savage Mace would be really good against Bear. But yeah, this is just looking more and more grim. And I think they're just so I think Orange is so uncoordinated in these team fights. I just don't think they really have a plan going into it. And I think the plan should really be get that Hellflower off on to either Engineer or Electrician right away before they're able to do anything, and focus them down, especially the Electrician. I mean, he's deceptively tanky. What makes him tanky is, like, now he has so much mana from that Sheep Stick. He's got 1,700 mana, so that's really going to make his Electric Shield just so powerful. Yep. But he's not able to use it if he's Hellflowered. So he's actually, like I said, he's deceptively tanky. You get all your heroes on him with that Hellflower. He's not able to cast that shield. He will actually drop quite fast. So they have to be more coordinated in these team fights. And unfortunately, it hasn't been that way up to this point.
Yeah, and as you said there, I mean, he does have Sheep Stick, by the way, and he had that going into the last fight, so he actually had that throughout that last fight, right. I believe. And he also has another 4,200 gold saved up. So, again, book here, 451 gold per minute has been so powerful for Pikachu, not only in this game, but again throughout the group stages. So we have Orange Esports. Perhaps they're going to try, one last time to have a hold here, but this goes back to Wildsel. He has 3,700 gold saved up again. Obviously, a buyback is important, sure, but you're pulling up so much gold that it seems like he could have at least bought something by now. Electrician is going to be able to, or he's going to get a Shrunken Head off. He's going to go on to Wretched right here. The swap from Andromeda. Going to save it now. Careful because the energy field is down there. Going to try to focus fire it a little bit, it looks like. Wildsel in the midst of it all, but not going to do nearly enough damage. The energy field going to stay up for the full duration, it seems. The Glacial Downpour even coming out. Bubbles is dropping quickly, but Wildsel actually doing a good amount of damage right here, is trying to make something. Now he gets ported back again. He got ported back when he was in the front lines doing damage. I don't know about that once again, but he does get ported back. In comes the Centigrade from Electrician. Electrician going balls to the wall. Will get the kill, and he somehow stays alive with an Electric Shield. Bloodbath coming out. We see Wildsel trying to survive. Not going to happen, though. The racks are going to fall as a result of that right there, and Orange Esports has had enough. At least the vote to concede comes out. We'll see if it actually passes, as Wildsel does buy back, and he ports it in time. So actually the racks does stay alive. Silhouette actually tears up right there onto Wretched, I believe it was. Dropping. No! She's going to port out in time, though, and will survive when it's all said and done. So I don't know if the concede vote is going to necessarily go through just yet here for Orange Esports, but yeah, it does go back to just what has been stressed for so long. Very skilled individual team here in Orange Esports, but when it comes to coordination, when it comes to strategy and everything, it does seem like it's a little bit more sloppy than other teams.
Yeah, and actually Tundra got in there with the portal key, blinked back in, and got the actual final blow on the rack. So good job there by Gordob. Very, very strong game from him. 4-1 and 18. That's a score to be reckoned with. But yeah, like you mentioned, I was just going to mention that as well. As they're very, very talented players, but their strategies is not quite there sometimes. And if you actually saw, it was one of the most amazing sequences I've seen. It was they went on to Wretched Hag, the Electrician did. He gripped him, and then Silhouette tried to follow up with a blink tree grapple, and it was going to hit. But Andromeda swapped him out to safety, so Andromeda was going to be basically in harm's way. And then at the same exact time, Ophelia storm spirited him. It was just the coolest coordination I have seen. It was really, really fun to watch. But yeah, I have been kind of actually missing these portbacks from Ophelia, but it sounds like it hasn't been working out that well. But overall, they're such talented individual players. But like you said, their overall strategy is just kind of off sometimes. And I think it's mostly going into team fights. They don't really have a strategy. They just kind of play them as they come, And that's definitely not the way to do it at this level.
Yeah, we see once again they're going to get another chance right here. Wild Soul getting locked in the background. The Avalanche was used by Tundra in the meantime in the background as well. Wild Soul just gets bursted down. He was not in his ulti form. Obviously, that hurts a lot. And out comes the energy field. Death Lotus in the midst of it all. And the Legion team right now in Pikachu, they are just rolling over Orange Esports Malaysia. GGs are called, and that should make it official now. As a result, there's the vote to concede. It follows up, and Game 1 will go to Pikachu here in this best of 3 against Orange Esports Malaysia, of course. So fantastic series, or fantastic game, I should say, coming up from Pikachu right there in Game 1. But we stressed it at the end, not to really go over too much more once again. But Orange Esports looking good at points, but other times, especially near the end there, you got to wonder a little bit, what some of that decision making was. So, Shuyu, love the player, a lot of fun to watch, but. Now, here's the thing. Wild Soul, could you ever argue that building up Wild Soul himself is more beneficial at times? Or is it really just, for the most part, just put it on Boo Boo, let him do the work?
The only time I've ever seen people put the items actually on the hero himself is when it becomes the really, really late game, when either you have to because your max item slot's on Boo Boo, or people are just killing Boo Boo way too fast. And that's at like 60 minutes when you have items like Savage Mace, just mass damage items on your carries, and Boo Boo dies in like 3 hits or 3 seconds anyway. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, we can't waste the time putting those items on the bear. Keep them on the hero because the hero's not going to die as quickly. But it was never to that point. I mean, Boo Boo was always still so tanky, and normally, even in that situation, you still want kind of attack speed items on Boo Boo because you want those entangled procs to come out, at a higher rate, or higher percentage, I should say. So, I just really don't agree with that. Also, there's some core item pickups that we're kind of missing on Wild Soul that I think are core anyway, is the Ghost Marchers are very, very good on Wild Soul. It gets that, juking, or, the non-collision factor in. Makes it much easier for Wild Soul to or the bear to actually keep up and get entangled procs, especially when you have good micro. I know these players all have great micro, so that shouldn't be a problem. And Striders are actually a very, very good item on Wild Soul, the hero himself, because even in his ulti form with Striders activated, with that wild ability, he walks at max movement speed. Yeah. It's just perfect. It's like the perfect item for Wild Soul. Also, we were missing, he did have investments, so that's fine. What I see a lot of players like to do is actually upgrade the vestments. So you just go Striders and then the full hood, or Shaman's Headdress, and you're just about as tanky as you need to be that entire game. You don't need to buy bracers, you don't need to buy a heart or anything like that. It's perfect as the way it is. So yeah, I definitely think that putting those items on the bear is the way to go, and kind of unfortunate.
It was, because for a while there, it really was looking like Shuyu was going to be able to do enough to at least hold this game out and maybe make this very, very interesting. But it started at that Conqueror, man. You're just still scratching your head of what was he thinking, sending in the bear, basically suicidal twice in a row. Granted, he did put the items on himself, but yeah, I'm not too sure about that. But in the end, Pikachu, they did what they need to do to win Game 1 here. So on that note, we're going to take a quick break, guys, and we'll be right back with Game number 2. Once again, let's break a CPK. Joining me is Alpha Mador. Game 2 coming up next, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.